eyes. Still couldn't wipe off that grin. I know where you've been. It's all been a pack of lies. And I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. I remember, don't worry. How could I ever forget? It's the first time, the last time we ever met. But I know the reason why you keep your silence up. No, you didn't fool me. The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some stranger to you and me. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. But I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Well, I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh Lord. I can feel it in the air tonight. Oh Lord. Dreams of war, dreams of lies, dreams of dragons fire, and the things
Well, welcome back to another episode. This is the Sports Cave. Your host, Robbie, here. I'm going to try and become as much energy as I can, folks, because finally, the beautiful weather is here. We're getting that much closer, it almost seems, because now it looks like it's going to be chilly next week. Go figure. So now everybody's going to get sick. That's just the way New England is. But, let's enjoy this warm weather while we got it. Well, we have some things to go over, but without any hesitation, no intro sound, nothing. Let's just get right into the Masters, shall we? The Masters. My favorite major tournament of the year comes every April. It is by far my favorite over the U.S. Open, the British Open, and the PGA Championship. Hell, it's even better for me than the Ryder Cup. The Masters, there's just something different about it. You play the same course every single year. These golfers play on it countless times throughout their illustrious careers. And sometimes they look just like how we do. Bryson DeChambeau, 3 shots to get out of the bunker in 18 on a Thursday. Guys are going into the woods nonstop, kind of just like us. Except the difference is they're getting paid millions of dollars, and they are significantly better than us. They're just playing one of the toughest courses in the world. And you know what's funny? My boy Dylan asked me, he goes, if you ever played at the Masters, 18 holes, and obviously no mulligans because we don't play mullies. He goes, what do you think you'd shoot in 18 holes? I don't think a lot of people realize like how small these greens are and like how these slopes are and how difficult it is. And they just make it look so freaking easy. I told him, I said, bro, I think I'd be lucky if I shot under a 120. And I shoot between the 90s and the 100s, and I'll get into an 80s once and now and then. But if I was to play at the Masters, there's no way I don't think I shoot under 120. They make it look so freaking easy, man. But let's get right into that. So we get to Sunday. We're going to skip the Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Let's just get right into Sunday here. Believe Rory had the lead. Sam Burns was right there on his trail, I believe. I know Cam Young and Rory, I think, were tied for the lead. Rose was hanging around by just a little bit, and Lowry went in at 9 under. Well, Rory eventually double bogeys. He had an easy bogey putt, and similar to what he had in the U.S. Open, it lipped out from a couple feet away, and then he putts it in for double bogey, and it was like, well, here we go. This is typical Rory. He's going to choke it away like he always does. So as we go along, we get to the back 9. Justin Rose eventually ends up with the 2-stroke lead, getting to 12 under. And then when I'm watching Justin Rose on 11, I said, this son of a bitch is fucked. And how I knew it was, he had a downhill hit, probably about 180 yards, had a 7-iron in his club, about to go hit the ball, and then he steps off and he tells his caddy, this is too much club. It's too much. His caddy goes, mate, it's fine. Go up and hit the ball. So what he thought was too much club was about 20 feet short of the pin without him taking anything off of it. What happened? Justin Rose got in his own head. He had a great front 9. If I'm not mistaken with my dad in the comments, I believe he was 3 or 4 under. The back 9, it gets only worse. He gets to the 12th hole. He gets that par 3. Ball's on the fringe. Goes to chip it. Duffs the chip. He just didn't look remotely the same in the back 9 that he looked in the front 9. And he was arguably one of the best golfers. Obviously he was one of the best golfers. He finished the top 5, but he looked like the guy that could win it. A consistent couple under par Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All he had to do was the same thing on Sunday. And he did it for 9 holes. And in the back nine on Sunday, he choked it all away. Speaking of choking all away, Shane Lowry, on him. I believe he was 8 or 9 under heading into Sunday. Ends up shooting 7 over par. Is this going to be a normal feat? Is this going to be a normal feat with Shane Lowry? You know what, Dad? That's a great point. You know what? Fantastic point. Justin Rose, an absolute dot on 13 to set up an eagle putt from about 15 to 20 feet. He gets within a couple feet, and you figure the birdie's a lot. He missed the birdie, and he 3-putted for par. You know how many times I've 3-putted for par on an eagle opportunity in a par 5? Multiple times. And I get paid millions of dollars like that son of a bitch does. Not to mention, I'm a little mad at him because he cost me $290 because he should have freaking won. And what I wanted to do was cash out in the 10th hole, and Fanatics wouldn't let me cash out, you sons of bitches. Because then I could have just enjoyed the rest of Master Sunday. No, not allowed to cash out. Motherfuckers. Freaking Fanatics. And guess what? I made a home run parlay tonight, so we'll see if they'll let me cash out. Because again, last night, they wouldn't allow me to cash out after Schwarber and Judge hit home runs, and I was 1 home run short because of freaking Gunnar Henderson. Thanks a lot, Frank. Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler. From Saturday and Sunday. No bogeys, 1 eagle, 9 birdies. And on 17 on Sunday, the ball literally sat right on the edge of the cup. And it should have went in, and he should have been 12 under. But it didn't. Rory McIlroy, after the double bogey, stormed on back. And on 12, flag was on the right side of the green. Everybody was playing it safe, and they were going to the left. Rory let off, goes to the right. Cam Young follows, went to the right, and they both hit tremendous tee shots. And that's what set the tone, in my opinion, on knowing that Rory McIlroy was going to win the Masters. Now, he had a really bad tee shot in 18. He was able to hook it, set himself up for a par or bogey. All he needed was a bogey to win. And Rory, after his par putt, put it within 2 feet, marked his ball, let Cam Young finish his putt. Rory McIlroy, back-to-back Masters. Rory McIlroy now has 6 majors in his golfing career. So after not winning a major championship since 2014 and winning the Masters last year, he goes back-to-back in the Masters. The last golfers to do that, there's only 3 of them, make him number 4. Rory McIlroy, Jack Nicklaus, Nick Faldo, and Tiger Woods. The only golfers in Masters history to go back-to-back. And again, his 6th major championship, he is tied for 12th with some legends. Lee Trevino, Nick Faldo, as I mentioned, with the back-to-back, and Phil Mickelson. You know, I'm not a fan of Rory. I'll be completely honest with you. I think if you know me well enough, you know that I don't like Rory because I think there's a lot of times where he's whining and crying like a little bitch. But to see what he's done since last year and this year, the amount of times that he's had opportunities to win majors since 2014 and choking it all away. To see him go back-to-back Masters. And I told you guys last week, I said, there's no chance he goes back-to-back. I was wrong. I don't think a lot of people had Rory McIlroy win the Masters. Was he the betting favorite? I believe he was second behind Scheffler. He's always going to be up there in betting odds. But you're always willing to bet that on any given Sunday, he's going to choke it all away. Well, I'll tell you what. There's probably a really good chance that he might win one more major this year. I don't think it'll be the U.S. Open. U.S. Open's always like it's always that golfer that hangs, like J.J. Spawn. It could be someone like a J.J. Spawn. One of those mid-tier golfers who have the potential to be good to great, and then, you know, you don't really hear from them the rest of the year. I don't think it'll be a big name winning the U.S. Open this year. But the British Open, I mean, he's always in contention. Playing on those golf courses that he grew up with his entire life, there's always a chance he can win the British Open. And that's probably the one that he might win this year. He might win 2. And it wouldn't come to a shock to anybody. Not at all. I'll tell you what, though. I want to give a shout out to Tyrell Hatton. On Friday, I know I said I was going to talk about the Friday round, but this is worth talking. 18 for 18 green regulations. The last golfer to do that at the Masters in a single round was from Kevin Na in 2020. And I don't know. This is my thing, though. Don't get me wrong. It is absolutely impressive as hell with what Tyrell Hatton did. But if I'm not mistaken, I don't think it was 2021. I'm pretty sure it was 2020 because everything shut down in the world of sports and COVID in April. If I'm not mistaken, they played the Masters in October or November. No fans allowed. Now, one of the advantages that you have with the fans is you kind of have an idea like, this is going to be 10, 15 yards, maybe from the back of the green or whatever. There was none of that. So I think Kevin Na's 18 for 18, in my opinion, is significantly more impressive by Tyrell Hatton, but nothing to shit on Tyrell Hatton. He was locked in for the most part on Masters Sunday. A lot of people are really upset, though, because I don't think a lot of people know that golfers are allowed to practice before the Masters, and it's caused a lot of outrage. Well, everybody has the opportunity to do it. Don't be trying to find a way to demoralize this Masters championship by Rory McIlroy. Everybody has the opportunity to do so. So get off his back. And this is coming from someone that doesn't like Rory McIlroy. So, back-to-back Masters for Rory McIlroy. Congratulations. Scotty was damn close to making one of the greatest comebacks we've seen in golf history. Damn close. All right, well, we got a couple other things that we're going to go through here, but the next one I want to go through, listen, sorry, maybe this makes you guys turn the channel. Maybe this makes you guys turn off this podcast. Maybe it makes you fast forward. If you don't like the sport of wrestling, if you don't like the WWE, this is your time to fast forward and not listen. But if you're interested in WrestleMania this weekend, stick around. What I want to do is remind you guys who will be elected into the 2026 WWE Hall of Fame. I'm just going to go from no names to who I think is the biggest name. So we have the tag team of Demolition. We have Bad News Brown, the celebrity inductee that they do every single year. They are going to be inducting Dennis Rodman. That's going to be interesting if you give that motherfucker a microphone. You have former WWE champion Psycho Sid. You have the daughter of Vincent McMahon, Stephanie McMahon. And then you have the phenomenal AJ Styles. Now, I don't know if I'll be staying up watching this because being that they're going to be over in Las Vegas, the Hall of Fame start time is going to be at 12 p.m. midnight. Probably a really good chance I'm not staying up for all that. A really good chance I will not be staying up for all that, and I'll have to watch it the next day. We go into WrestleMania. So I've always been a fan of this 2-night thing. When they used to do the whole 5 to 6 hour WrestleMania on Sunday, there's just no freaking purpose of it. No purpose of it. Too much time. You get tired. It gets boring after a while. The 2-night thing was a great idea. What I'm trying to do right now is get you the cards for night 1 and night 2. Okay. So the night 1 card, it starts off with The Vision featuring Logan Paul and Austin Theory. And this is the part that really makes it really just interesting. The amount of celebrities that they're trying to introduce on a consistent basis now is just getting a little bit out of control. But hey, I mean, we said the same thing about Logan Paul, and he turns out to be a pretty damn good wrestler. So we'll see. Logan Paul, Austin Theory, and I Show Speed, the streamer off Twitch, will be taking on the Usos and LA Knight. Due to the fact that I Show Speed is a part of this, you would think that they're going to win. But I think the Danhausen curse is going to be the reason why that they lose. I think the Usos and LA Knight win. Fatu versus Drew McIntyre. See, this is the make or break for Jacob Fatu. This is the make or break if this guy is going to be a solo superstar, because when he was running around that sanction with Solo, he was the face of that sanction. Okay. If he wins this match, he needs a major push. Has to have it. But if he loses, does this mean he's a mid-tier guy? Is he United States and Intercontinental Champion only? He's just mid-tier? Like, I don't know how it pans out. But I feel like Drew McIntyre has been losing too many WrestleManias in a row, and I think Drew McIntyre ends up winning this matchup. This is going to be a great match, if not maybe the best match of WrestleMania. The Women's World Heavyweight Championship featuring Liv Morgan and Stephanie Valkyrie. It looks real. It feels real. A lot of the freaking bumps that Valkyries give Liv Morgan, like, it just feels like it's natural, like, hatred, even though it's completely booked, as we understand. Valkyrie's been on a hell of a run, but the World Heavyweight Championship just looks better on Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan wins it. The Women's Intercontinental Championship featuring AJ Lee versus Becky Lynch. I'm not going to spend much time on this. I think this is just for AJ Lee to get a WrestleMania moment. Becky Lynch will take her down. The Women's Tag Team Championship, you have the Bella Twins versus Nia Jax, Lash Legend versus Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. Not going to lie, a lot of big names here. Bella Twins, Charlotte Flair, Alexa Bliss, Bayley, Nia Jax. I'm not interested. I really can give two shits. This might be my piss break. I don't see them giving it to the Bella Twins. I think they might win it down the road, but I don't know. Maybe it goes back to Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. I don't know. And I care less. Next one. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Well, folks, I'll tell you what. It would be a really stupid and bad business decision if they had Seth Rollins beat Gunther. Gunther, in a short period of time, retiring Goldberg, retiring John Cena, retiring AJ Styles. Unless you have big plans for Seth Rollins to hold on to the belt for 1,317 days to pass Roman Reigns' title reign, there is no reason that Seth Rollins should be winning this match and Gunther should be winning this match. And then we have Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton for the Undisputed WWE Championship. I love Cody Rhodes. I'm a big Cody Rhodes guy. I am. But damn it, dude, this has to go to Randy Orton. You gotta give it to Randy. Randy, as TJ would say. Randy. It's gotta go to Randy Orton. Night 2. We're kicking it off with a hell of a fucking match, man. Obafemi versus Brock Lesnar. This feels like Obafemi should win, but something just tells me, they're going to do a little twist on a WrestleMania Sunday, and I think Brock Lesnar is going to be the winner of this matchup. The Intercontinental Champion ladder match, you have Penta, Javon Evans, Dragon Lee, JD McDonough from the Judgment Day, Rusev, and Rey Mysterio. No chance Rey Mysterio wins this match. This is either going to be a Penta or a Javon Evans victory, and I'm going to go with Penta. I think they're going to have him retain. Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley. This feud has just been really, low expectation type shit. It hasn't really gotten any attention for me, at least. I'm very disinterested in this women's match. And I hate to say it like that because I said it about the tag team, but let me remind you, I said that I think the World Heavyweight Champion match between Valkyrie and Liv Morgan will be the match of WrestleMania. This Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley, I don't know if I don't know how they're going to mesh well in the ring. It's going to be one of those WrestleMania moments, whether it's the Riptide or Jade Cargill's finisher, but something tells me Jade Cargill is going to be lifting up Rhea and holding her for a while she puts her down for the victory, whatever that move is called. I think Jade Cargill wins. The United States Championship, Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams. Save everybody's time. Trick Williams. He is super over right now. Sami Zayn will lose the belt to Trick Williams. God, been waiting for this one. Finn Balor, the Demon, versus Dominic Mysterio. Oh, my God. Finn Balor, the Demon, it just feels freaking right. What they should have done, though, they should have, promoted the whole Demon thing. The best time to find out, when Finn Balor came out as the Demon to take on Bobby Lashley, I think it was, WrestleMania 36. That was awesome. That's what they should have done. They should have caught Dominic off guard and had the Demon come out just WrestleMania Sunday. Finn Balor's going to win. If Dominic beats the Demon, just kill the character. Because he should have never lost to Roman Reigns. He should have lost to Edge. If this character loses to Dominic, kill the Demon character. It's over. And then we have CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. The best in the world versus the Tribal Chief. there's gonna, you know what? Let's just be completely honest. Like there is gonna be some what's the word they look, botches. There is definitely gonna be some botches, no doubt about it. But I think it's gonna be a hell of a show as long as Pat McAfee and Jelly Roll, or yeah, wait, no, Pat McAfee will get involved in the other one with Cody Rhodes. Never mind. So with this one, is there a chance that the Bloodline might have some sort of unity again? I mean, did you see the thing on Monday Night Raw with Solo and Tama Tonga or whatever the freaking brother's name is? Whatever, Solo go back to Roman? Paul Heyman rejoin the Bloodline? Something's going to happen in favor of Roman Reigns winning. And that is the WrestleMania preview. Short, quick, and simple. All right. Well, folks, let's get on to our next sport. This one needs an intro. It is the NBA on the Sports Cave. Okay, there's no breaking news. Yep, no breaking news. All right, it is the NBA in the Sports Cave. And folks, the regular season has ended, and my Brooklyn Nets finished at an impressive record of 20 wins and 62 losses. Below them, the Indiana Pacers at 19 and 63. And the Wizards at 17 and 65. Going over to the West, all the teams that were eliminated didn't have over 30 wins. The Pelicans, 26 and 56, with the Mavs at 26 and 56. The Grizzlies at 25-57. The Ja Morant saga is probably over. The Kings at 22 and 60, and the Utah Jazz at 22 and 60. So, with the lottery coming up, we will see what team will end up with the number one pick. Now, I have to go on a quick break here. I received a phone call. They need my attention. So, what I'm going to do for the time being, if you're still here listening around, I'm just going to go to a brief intermission, play some music, and when I get back, I'll get back. So, please bear with me. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. So going to the NBA again. So I believe there's going to be a playing game that's going to be happening as I'm recording. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the Heat and the Hornets, and it is. So the game's going to be the Miami Heat, who finished 44-39 as the 10th seed, will be taking on the Hornets, who finished 44-30 as the 9th seed. So before the season, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that I said that LaMelo Ball should be basically out of Charlotte and like request get out of there any way possible. But you know what? With him and Con Kneppel, and Brandon Miller, maybe this young nucleus figures it out. I'm not saying they need to bring in a superstar. You don't bring in a superstar in this scenario. Like, take it from me, the guy who had to watch it with his Brooklyn Nets, okay? If you have enough, like, star talent, LaMelo could be a superstar. Brandon Miller could be a superstar. Con Kneppel could be a star. That's enough as it is. Find the right role player assets in the NBA now, and you could win an NBA championship. You don't need a super team like you did in the 2010s, like the Celtics had, like the Miami Heat had, like the Warriors had. You don't need that anymore to win an NBA championship. You need continuity, which is good for basketball. It's good for basketball, okay? With the Miami Heat, it just feels off, man. Jimmy Butler would have this team. I mean, obviously he tore his ACL. We're not going to see him in the playoffs for the Warriors, but the Miami Heat were good because of Jimmy Butler. Do I think that Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero could beat the Hornets? Yeah, I do. But do I think that when they go on to the next round that they can take down the next tier competition, which is going to be the 76ers or the Magic? No, they're not beating the Sixers. There's no fucking way they're beating the Sixers. They might beat the Magic. The Magic are all the Magic don't make sense. They fell off big time. They don't make sense. I can't see. I just can't see the Heat being as good as they once were. Now, there was a report from Shams coming out that Miami's going to make sure that they get a superstar in the offseason. Who's that going to be? Is that going to be Giannis? What is the superstar that's going to go to Miami that makes him a difference maker like that? Because you know you're going to have to give up Bam. Bam is the franchise now. It's not Tyler Hero like they're hoping. It's Bam. I don't know. The reason why Miami's always in the playoffs, though, is because Eric Spoelstra is an underrated coach. If you haven't given his respect yet, give him his respect. He's one of the greatest coaches we've seen. He is what they portray Doc Rivers to be. And we'll get to Doc Rivers in a minute. That's who Eric Spoelstra is. He is who they portray Doc Rivers as. Obviously better than Doc. Okay? So, Hornets, Heat. Who will win this game? I'll tell you what. I'm not going to lie, folks. Give me a second. I'm going to put this game on the TV because this NBA playoff basketball, I'll watch. NBA regular season basketball outside of watching my Brooklyn Nets play, or if I have a parlay going or a bet on them, I don't give a shit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my remote here. And I'm putting on Amazon Prime, and I'm going to turn on this game as I'm doing the show with y'all. By the way, the spread has Charlotte favored by 5.5. Now, the crowd is going to be electric, but let's not pretend like Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo don't have experience with this shit. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I think the Miami Heat go on to win. And then later tonight, definitely will not be watching this game. You have the battle of the 7-8 seed. You have the Phoenix Suns versus the Portland Trailblazers. You know what, guys? Honestly, you have to give respect to the Portland Trailblazers. Why I say that is because when the season started, they didn't do anything spectacular. They were kind of like a bottom-end team, looked like potentially like tanking type shit. Then you have your head coach get arrested in an FBI probe for illegal gambling and shit, running illegal poker tables and shit. Who would ever thought Chauncey Billups would be a part of that shit, huh? No one in a million years. And here they are as the number 8 seed. And what looked to be like a bust in Washington gets traded over to Portland and Denny Avdija, and he averaged 24.2 points, 6.9 rebounds, and 6.7 assists. I believe these are all career highs in his career. And they are. We're talking about an 8-point increase from last year. The rebounds are about the same. And we're talking about a 3.9 assists the season before to 6.7. 6.7. Now, the only thing that went down was his 3-point percentage. But this guy is absolutely balling. And Donovan Clingan, averaging a double-double. I don't know if he led the league or if he tied the league with Wemby for total rebounds per game. He's been a tremendous asset for them. Drew Holiday doing Drew Holiday things for them. And they'll be going up against a tough Phoenix Suns team. Devin Booker. You can never count out Devin Booker, man. This Phoenix Suns team with Devin Booker, Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks. Yeah, I said Dylan Brooks because Dylan Brooks had a solid season. Jalen Green, who was part of the Kevin Durant trade. Mark Williams. I mean, Devin Booker averaged 26 points per game. Dylan Brooks with 20. Jalen Green with 17.8. Grayson Allen with 16.5. Connor Gillespie with 12.7. Mark Williams with 11.7. I like the Suns. I like the Suns against the Trailblazers. Now, remind you, the 7-8 seeds, just because that the Blazers are going to lose, doesn't mean that they're done. They will face the winner of the 9 and 10. So, with me having the Heat beating the Hornets will be eliminated. Now, on Wednesday, the Magic and the Sixers all day. Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid. And it's funny to me that the spread is only -1.5 for Philly. I might throw 50 on that. I might throw 50 on Philadelphia. Hell, I might throw 76 on the 76ers just because. There's no way they're losing this game, the Orlando Magic. No way. And then the 10 o'clock game, the 10 and 9, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors taking on the Clippers. I had the Clippers winning, and here's why. You want to talk about the most, I talked about Doc Rivers, but this guy's an overrated coach too, man. Steve Kerr. It's life or death. And you have two of your best players that are going to be on the court on a minutes restriction between the franchise all-time best player, Steph Curry, and Kristaps Porzingis. And then you have Al Horford coming off the bench on restricted minutes. Like, what are you doing against Kawhi Leonard? Do you not remember how Kawhi Leonard gets down in the playoffs? I know it's crazy that Kawhi Leonard's actually playing in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. You need to take this shit seriously, and you're not. And it's going to bite you in the ass. And the Warriors will be eliminated. And then you go into next year with Curry getting another. Is Steph Curry going to be like 38 next year? Steph Curry. I'm going to tell you how old Steph Curry is. He's 38 right now. He's going to be 39 years of age next year. You're going to have Steph Curry at 39 years old. Jimmy Butler's up there in age too, man. Jimmy Butler's going to be 37 when the season starts. Has it been anything close to the same since that championship with the Celtics because of that illness that he's been dealing with? Brandon Podminsky has been nothing close to what you have hoped for. Gary Payton hasn't been anything close to that championship team that you had. How do you know you're going to get better next year? Unless somehow LeBron James comes in and saves the day. But then again, you're getting a 42, 43-year-old LeBron James next year. This isn't LeBron in his prime. Steve Kerr is just pissing away the season. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Absolute fucking idiot. I can't stand Steve Kerr. He's never been a good coach, in my opinion. So, with me having the Magic, or the Magic losing, so with me having the Magic losing, I have them taking on the Miami Heat. Now, it's tricky here. Franz Wagner, Paulo Banchero, Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bane against Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, Jamie Jaquez Jr. But it doesn't look like it's clicking well with Jamal Mosley, man. I think he's going to get kicked out the door, and I think that they're done. I think they will get knocked out by the Miami Heat. Miami Heat will be the 8 seed. They'll take on the Pistons, and they'll get their ass kicked. Now, the Clippers versus the Suns. That is going to be a hell of a game to watch. That is going to be some freaking basketball to watch, man. And that's going to happen this Friday night at 10 p.m. Ooh. If you ask me, who's going to win this one? Ooh, this game might go to overtime. This might be an overtime elimination game. But in the end, I go with track record and I go with resume. And I'm going to go with Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers taking down the Phoenix Suns. And that is that. And that is that for that preview. And we will have updates next week. I believe the playoffs entirely will start on Sunday. No, it's going to start on Saturday. Saturday, you have Zach's Raptors and the Cleveland Cavaliers. You have the Wolves and the Nuggets. That's going to be a good series. The Hawks and the Knicks. That is low-key going to be a good series. What's really awkward to me is when it previews here on ESPN players to watch, you have Jalen Johnson, which makes perfect sense for the Atlanta Hawks. Players to watch in the Knicks. It's not Jalen Brunson on their advertising. It's not Karl Anthony Towns. It's not Josh Hart. It's not OG Anunoby. They're advertising Mikal Bridges. What the fuck? That don't make sense. And then the Lakers and the Rockets. And folks, no Luka, no Austin Reeves. There is no way in hell 41-year-old LeBron James is going to take down the Houston Rockets with Kevin Durant, with Albert Sengun. There is no freaking chance Rockets are going to have their way with the Lakers. And it'd be smart of the Lakers. And this is a different scenario with the Lakers and the Warriors. It'd be smart if they are very cautious and patient. And if it's a wipe for season, it's a wipe for season. You do not want to make those injuries for Austin Reeves and Luka worse. Those two are going to be your future. If you can convince Luka to stay, that is your future. LeBron's 41. LeBron's probably out of the Lakers next year. He's probably gone. Whether he goes back to Cleveland to finish his career off in Cleveland, or if he goes to Miami to finish his career off in Miami, we could see that happening. Or if he goes to Golden State to play with Steph Curry, because we've always wanted to see LeBron and Steph Curry. I don't know. I think bottom line is LeBron will be out of LA next year. But who's going to step up in this absence of Luka and Austin Reeves? It's got to be Rui Hachimura. And if it ain't Rui Hachimura, it's got to be Luke Kennard. It's got to be somebody that's going to score the basketball. Now, Luke Kennard is a great three-point shooter. Rui's a good three-point shooter. He could also make the mid-range stuff. There's no one else that they can. Bronny's not going to do shit, obviously. DeAndre Ayton, I think he shot like 64% from the field, but we see what pressure does to DeAndre, and it's like he shies away. The Lakers season is going to come down to Rui and Luke Kennard. That sucks. That sucks. If you don't get Luka and Austin Reeves back, that sucks. We know how LeBron gets in the playoffs, but we also know how Kevin Durant gets to the playoffs. So, time will tell. Playoffs will be fully underway. Going back again here to the NBA, Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers and the Bucks have agreed to mutually move on with them as their head coach, but they're looking for him in an advisor role. Now, I'll defend Doc in this manner. I will. I'm not a fan of Doc Rivers as the head coach. I think he's the most overrated, overhyped NBA head coach in history. I think that myself or my father, two freaking coaches from the Friday Night League in Naugatuck, Connecticut, could coach that freaking tooth. I could have done it at 13 or 14 years old, however old I was, when you had Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Rajon Rondo, Eddie House, Big Baby Glenn Davis, Kendrick Perkins, at that time, easily would win a championship with anybody coaching them. With anybody. This guy moves on. He goes to the Clippers with Chris Paul in his prime, Blake Griffin in his prime, DeAndre Jordan in his prime, JJ Redick, an absolute sniper. The guy couldn't get past the second round. He blew 3-1 leads nonstop. Then he goes to Philly with the process of Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, which then turns into James. And he couldn't do shit with them neither. And after being done and then going to broadcasting, they fire Adrian Griffin. Then they bring in Doc Rivers to Milwaukee, and it got worse. Worse. Now, this is where I defend Doc. Giannis. Yes, they have Giannis. Yes, Giannis is one of the best basketball players in the league. When it's all said and done, Giannis might be a top 20 basketball player of all time. What the fuck did Giannis have to work with this year? You moved on from Damian Lillard. Now, Dame obviously wasn't going to play this year, but that definitely was kind of like fucked up. Who's the second best player? Bobby Portis? Kyle Kuzma? Ryan Reynolds' numbers look great for fantasy basketball, but if you actually watch the game of basketball, that's going to be your second freaking option? That's where I have Doc Rivers back. But from the time that Doc Rivers got there, there was a disconnect from the start. And you have all these reporters like Stephen A. Smith and Brian Windhorst today on First Take talking about how Giannis is the reason that Griffin got fired. Giannis is the one asking to get out of Milwaukee. Listen, I hate Giannis due to the fact that what he did to Kyrie's ankle, and that costed the Nets a championship. I get that. He's never portrayed to be the one to lie in any way, shape, or form. Do I think Giannis wants to be with the Bucks? I do. But do I think the Bucks want to keep with Giannis? I don't, because that window's over. And while you got him still in his prime for now, you better get as much draft capital as possible, because nobody wants to go to Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Nobody. They won the NBA championship off of coaching development by Mike Budenholzer with Chris Middleton, with Drew Holiday, with Giannis, Brooke Lopez, Bobby Portis. Pat Connaughton off the bench was a nice asset. It ran its course. And you've moved on from all those players except for Giannis, and it will be time for them to move on from Giannis. Hey, Milwaukee Bucks, who would have ever thought in my lifetime Milwaukee Bucks would have an NBA championship? Not me. Not me. It ran its course. Now it's back to 20, 30, 40 years of misery until they get the next one. If I'm alive by then. We will see. Well, I don't know what this necessarily means here. A tweet here from Adam Schefter. The Giants have had, quote, productive conversations with Dexter Lawrence, agent, as they try to find a resolution following his recent trade request. So I don't know if that means, again, traded or a contract extension. That is to be determined. All right. The NBA. So I'll go back to the whole thing with tanking here. So we had in the NBA here, I'll give you the amount of teams that finished with under 30 wins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you had 8 teams finished with under 30 wins. That'd be the Nets, the Pacers, the Wizards, the Jazz, the Kings, the Grizzlies, the Mavericks, and the Pelicans. I'm going to give the Pacers the pass, and I'm going to give the Mavericks a pass, because Anthony Davis, Kyrie getting hurt, the Pacers, I mean, it just goes to show how good Tyrese Halliburton really is and how badly the Kings fucked up for moving on from him. Idiots. Okay? I mean, and the Wizards, they trade for Anthony Davis and Trae Young. You know what? They're not excused. The Grizzlies, Ja Morant, Jaren Jackson, at one point they were outside of the hunt fighting for the play-in bracket area, and they just traded all away, and they basically shut Ja Morant down for the rest of the season. The Kings, I don't know why they sucked so bad this year. I know Sabonis got hurt, but damn. And the Nets are the Nets. But what I will tell you is this. How do you fix tanking? It's very simple. It's very simple. You know, you hear people talk about, bonuses. Like, give the players bonus incentives for some, games played with this. No, don't give them more fucking money. They are making a shit ton of money in the NBA. They don't get any bonuses. Oh, well, every team should be allowed 5 to 6 rest days for the season. No. No. You want to fix the NBA? Get rid of the G League. Why do I say that? Guys, I can't tell you how many games the last 10, 15 games of the season the Brooklyn Nets sat Porter. They played Claxton like 15 to 20 minutes of games. They shut down Day'Ron Sharpe. They shut They shut down all their regular basketball players just to play the G League players. And the G League players were playing hard. I give them that. And it doesn't sound like a Jordy Fernandez thing, the coach of the Brooklyn Nets. It sounds more of a Sean Marks thing. And the G League, what purpose does it serve for the NBA? What, because a couple players came from the G League and had some successful careers in the NBA, like Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Jeremy Lin? That's 3 names off the top of my head. The G/D League has been around for like 15 years. It's a joke. Too many G League teams gives teams that are shitty too many opportunities to tank. That's how you fix tanking in the NBA. Get rid of the G League teams. Because that's 10 to 12 more players that they could use to tank. Next thing you might want to have to think about doing too is get rid of 10-day contracts. Not to mention too, these basketball players need to be fucking men. These basketball players need to be men. You're getting paid. You're not getting paid a middle class salary. You're not. You are getting paid millions of dollars to play a sport. Stop being a bunch of fucking pussies. Put the shoelaces on, put the shoes on, tie them up, and go play the game of basketball. Because the ticket prices are absolutely absurd. People are working hard to bring themselves or their families or their friends to go to these games just for you to sit out. That's how you fix the product of the NBA. I thought Adam Silver initially was a good thing for the NBA, and it turns out that the players got all the control, and it completely backfired. So, the NBA is not good during the regular season. And the whole in-season tournament kind of ruined the reputation of the regular season for the NBA, too. I don't know how many people remember. I do remember. Does anybody remember who won the regular season tournament this year? It was the New York Knicks. But how many people really care? It's a stupid fucking tournament that they introduce to raise what banner? An in-season tournament banner? No one cares. No one gives a shit. The NBA's turned into a joke. And until you got to wait for the playoffs, it will continue to be a joke. Okay. I'm going to stick with basketball here, and I'm just going to stick with my UConn Huskies here. This one completely shocked all of Husky Nation. UConn's Eric Ryba announces he will be entering the transfer portal. Is this a big or loss for the Huskies with Terrace Reed entering the NBA draft? And that's a to-be-determined thing. Because in the games that Terrace Reed missed, he averaged about 12 points per game and 6 rebounds. I don't get this. This made absolutely no sense. I mean, unless they were able to get a big-time transfer, which I didn't foresee happening, it felt like this was his starting job to take on and grow. Now, there were times where Ryba pissed me off, but I got to remember, too, he's a freshman. He's from Europe. Like, things are different playing basketball in Europe than they are in America. You can be patient with college kids. What university is going to do you better for your basketball career than the UConn Huskies? Not unless you're looking for a better education in playing basketball. If you transfer like fucking, if you're going to go down to New Haven, go to Yale or Harvard or Penn or Brown University. I don't fucking know. What other university are you looking at? I don't see him going to Duke. Michigan, I don't see them taking you. Florida, Arizona, Michigan State. Where's there a better opportunity for you right now than the UConn Huskies? That starting center job is lined up for you, you fucking idiot. And I'm not coming off as a salty UConn fan. I'm not. I'm coming off as like an average basketball fan that looks at the guy that backed up Terrace Reed, the guy who was averaging 20 and 10 in the playoffs, and you will be succeeding that guy. and you're taking off. It makes absolutely no sense unless UConn has big, big plans that we are unaware of. This could cost them a potential NBA career. Doesn't make sense, man. Doesn't make sense in any shape, form, or fashion why Eric Ryba is entering the transfer portal. I'm wishing him the best of luck. I am. But we need a better explanation than what you tweeted out. In case you didn't find that, let me tell you his exact words. Eric Ryba. See if I can find it here. Huh. Nope. I guess we're not going to be able to read you his freaking final words. We're not going to be able to read you his... yes, we can. There we go. Okay. Here we go. This was the words coming out from Eric Ryba. I want to start by thanking God for putting me in this position and guiding me throughout this journey. To my family, thank you for your constant support, belief, and sacrifice. Everything I've accomplished is because of the foundation you gave me. To Coach Hurley and the entire UConn staff, thank you for holding me to a high standard every single day. You didn't just develop me as a basketball player, but as a man. They did that all in 1 year? Oh, that's interesting. Excuse me. To my teammates, thank you for welcoming me and supporting me throughout my entire time in stores. It truly means a lot. After careful consideration, I decided to enter the NCAA transfer portal to continue my academic and athletic career. I don't think anybody understands this at all. I don't think anybody understands this at all. Hey, good luck wherever you end up. I don't know where it's going to be, but good luck. All right. All right. I'm going to talk a little bit of NFL, although there's not much to go over. I'm going to talk a little bit. All right, so in case you hadn't seen the trade that happened, it just makes the A.J. Brown departure from Philadelphia Eagles look more and more like it's going to happen with this trade. So the Philadelphia Eagles made a trade with the Green Bay Packers for Dontavion Wicks. And I believe that they trade away. Oh, here it is. Well, they signed Hollywood Brown and Elijah Moore to 1-year deals in free agency. And then they sent off a 5th round and a 6th round pick to Green Bay for Wicks. They then gave Wicks a 1-year, $12.5 million extension. 24 years of age, he caught 30 passes for 332 yards and a pair of touchdowns this past season. Now, obviously, they're going to bring it up about A.J. Brown. So, General Manager Howie Roseman, what do you think the odds are that I'm answering this question any different than I've answered anywhere else? Like, really? Do you think that's 50%? Do you think that's 75%? Roseman said when asked how the recent additions at receiver impact A.J. Brown. And then he followed up with A.J. Brown is an Eagle. Listen. You have Hollywood Brown, Elijah Moore, Devontae Smith, Dontavion Wicks, Jahan Dotson, Dallas Goedert. Dude. We know that you're trading A.J. Brown. You're waiting until June 1st because you could say $20 million because Howie Roseman is a genius. He is. He is smart as fuck. But I don't know. This was an immediate move that they need to make, or maybe they want to do this before. I don't know. I don't know. But we're not stupid. A.J. Brown will be out of Philadelphia before the start of next year. And if you don't, that's great. If he stays, that's great. But nobody thinks he'll be that long. There's just no connection between him and Jalen Hurts. Everyone sees that there's no good connection between A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Everybody sees that outside of Eagles fans. It's not clicking. Now, I'm not sitting here as a biased Patriots fan going, oh, he's going to get. I mean, I would like A.J. Brown in New England. Don't get me wrong. I still want Garrett Wilson more than anybody else if available, because Garrett Wilson isn't available. But if somehow he does become available, that's who I want the most. I would gladly settle on A.J. Brown. But there's a ton of teams out there that will fucking pay the house for A.J. Brown. And if there's that much of a disconnect, what the fuck are you waiting on? Now, if you're not getting a first-round pick in return, I can understand that. I completely understand. A.J. Brown is worth minimal one first-round pick. I mean, that guy is a top 10 wide receiver in football. In a sport where the ball is thrown on a consistent basis, it makes sense. But you knew that when you made this trade that these questions were going to be asked. You knew that. So don't begin all mad at the media because you knew this was going to happen. All right. Speaking of media, I'm not spending a lot of time on this. I'm really not. What I do want to tell is you fucking stupid fucks that think that Mike Vrabel is going to get fired because what looks to be an alleged affair with Diana Rossini, who, by the way, just resigned with The Athletic, although she said her contract was expiring in June of this year. Dude, guys, now here's the thing. I'm not sticking up for Vrabel for having an affair. I'm not going to do that. As a man, when you make your I do's through good and bad times, you don't do that shit. You don't. But don't be so fucking hypocritical. Don't be such fucking hypocritical people that are going to bash the shit out of the Patriots for not firing him when some of your teams are hiring men that beat the shit out of women. So don't be fucking hypocritical. All right? There's no standard in the NFL, guys. There's no fucking standard. I guarantee you Henry Ruggs will get a second chance in the NFL. There's no standards. Seriously. Vrabel will have to own up to it if it does become true, because innocent until proven guilty. Yes, there's photographic evidence, but sometimes pictures don't always tell the story. I'm not going to get political here, and I'm not going to talk about other pictures that we've seen that were inconclusive that they try to make factual. But is it a bad look for both of them? Yes, it is. But wait until we get the full fucking thing before you come out here. They got to fire Vrabel. The NFL and the FBI should investigate for an affair. Fuck out of here, dude. That's all the time I'm spending on that. Okay. So next week, we have the NFL draft. We're going to do a preview next Tuesday. But there's one team that I want to mention that I literally talked about an hour and a half before Adam Schefter made out this tweet. What are the Steelers going to do at quarterback? It is April 14th of 2026 as I am recording this. And every available quarterback is off of the market except for Aaron Rodgers. Who's going to be the quarterback? If you're a Steelers fan, listen, you're not getting Ty Simpson. You're not getting Mendoza. You believe in Carson Beck? And you have Will Howard on your roster already. And you have Mason Rudolph. Dude, it's crazy. Tua is already signed. Like, that's how much there's nothing available for the free agent class right now for quarterbacks. There's nothing available. Now, it's not going to be easy in the North next year. Especially because you don't have Mike Tomlin anymore. But there's a lot of questions with the AFC North. There are a lot of questions. They get Aaron Rodgers back, maybe they could win the North. You know, the Bengals are notorious for injuries. Their defense stinks. The Ravens, Lamar's been getting hurt, that hamstring, last 2 years in a row. No more John Harbaugh. There's questions about the North. The Steelers, they need to figure their shit out before the draft. They have to. You have to set the tone if you were going to have Aaron Rodgers back or not. I know that Aaron Rodgers likes to play the game. I know he does. But Aaron, you are a top 10 quarterback of all time. Some people have you top 5. Stop playing games with the fans, dude. You're not that important. You're not as good as you used to be. Are you more important than Will Howard and Mason Rudolph? No doubt. But dude, just fucking come up with a decision. Get out from that freaking tent that you're freaking doing all this freaking drugs in with a bunch of hobos out there in the state of California. Get out of that shit and just come up with a decision. You don't need a darkness retreat. Like, dude, just fucking wake up, smell the sun in the sky, listen to the birds chirp, breathe in that fresh air, and either retire or don't. For the love of God. For the love of God. So that's still going on in the NFL. We're still waiting to see if Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback for the Steelers next year or not. The NHL, well, a Connecticut resident has laced up their skates for the last time. Jonathan Quick played his last game in his illustrious hockey career last night for the New York Rangers as he is settled on retirement. Congratulations to a successful career. Stanley Cup champion with the Kings. Very, very, very good goaltender throughout most of his career. And doing Connecticut proud. Congratulations, Jonathan Quick. The playoffs are starting very soon in the NHL as well. They will not be featuring my Toronto Maple Leafs because we suck big fucking cock this year. We came in last in the Atlantic, so that's an accomplishment, I guess, somehow. What does shock me, though, the Panthers will not be in the playoffs. Now, I know they won back-to-back cups, but when's the last time we had a team win back-to-back cups that didn't make the playoffs? This is where Zach would have that valuable information that I do not have. So, if you do know that information, if you are listening to this podcast, enlighten me. Let me know when you get a chance to speak with me. Also eliminated, shockingly, at 93 points, just outside of the cup there, the Washington Capitals, as the Flyers clinched last night in a shootout. That's a big name that is going to be out. Alex Ovechkin, he'll be out. The Islanders, who at one point looked like they were like almost like a lock, essentially, they're eliminated. The Devils are eliminated. The Rangers are eliminated. And the Western Conference side, just about anybody you expect to be eliminated is eliminated. Just about anybody you would expect. However, the Utah Mammoth, their second year in, they're in. They are in, baby. They're in. So the President's Trophy, that is for the team with the best regular season record, more than likely, with 2 games to go, is going to belong to the Colorado Avalanche, unless they go on a 2-game losing streak, and then the Carolina Hurricanes. Well, Carolina Hurricanes have 1 game left, so you know what? It is theirs. It is theirs to win. It is the Avalanche. This is the team that could break the curse. This is the team that could break the curse. With Cale Makar, with Nathan McKinnon, there's no reason that this team can't break the curse. Will they? Hockey's tricky, man. Hockey's tricky. I don't know if there's that extra fire under the Oilers and what the state of Leon Draisaitl is going to be because he missed the rest of the regular season with an injury. They just couldn't get past the Panthers, and now the Panthers are out. This feels like it could be the Oilers' years, but it's like tired legs, injuries. I don't know. I don't know, man. This is going to be a very interesting NHL Stanley Cup playoff series. I mean, the Buffalo Sabres came out on top in the Eastern Conference. Who the hell before the season imagined that? Not a lot of people. If anybody. Not even most freaking Sabres fans. I don't know. What is good sign, though, was at the conclusion of the Penguins and Capitals game, after the Capitals won 3-0, bunch of Penguins players went over to go shake Ovi like as if this was his last run. He kind of waved them off. So Ovi probably is going to come back next year. I just don't know if it's going to be with the Capitals, man. From what we've seen with a lot of legends for their organizations not playing with them the following seasons, whether it was Char with the Bruins or if it was Steven Stamkos with the Lightning, they move on from these guys because it's the right thing to do for business. And who knows? Maybe that's what's going to happen with Ovi. Maybe he won't be in the Capitals uniform next year. Time will tell. Time will tell. All right, let's get into our last sport here. I'll tell you what, my nose is getting itchier and itchier, and it's allergy season, so I'm basically freaking cooked. Give me a second here. I have to see how the Pittsburgh Pirates scored a run here. If it was a home run. That was a Brandon Lowe home run. God damn it. Well, folks, we need Marcell Ozuna and Connor Griffin to hit home runs. Yeah, great. You know what, Bryce? Great decision. I know Connor Griffin's supposed to be a freaking stud and a phenom. Let me take the guy who's batting 8th. You owe me $5 when he doesn't hit his home run, you piece of shit. Gosh damn it. Thanks, Bryce. Good looks, asshole. Speaking of Connor Griffin, though, I think it was last Tuesday or Wednesday after the show, the Pirates signed him to a lucrative 9-year, $140 million contract extension. The Pirates, they're a young team, and it's a matter of everything goes well and there's no injuries. They have a solid batting lineup if you haven't had a chance to look. O'Neal Cruz, who's actually been doing really good so far early on in the season. Again, it's early on in the season. Brandon Lowe, Brian Reynolds, who they signed to a contract extension last year, Ryan O'Hearn, Marcell Ozuna, and Connor Griffin. They have a good lineup. They have a pretty decent pitching rotation. Obviously, you know about Paul Skeens. Jared Jones is a very exceptional piece to the rotation. And this team right now we're only 16, 17 games in the season, and they're 10-6. They could win this Central depending on the Cubs. Cubs are off to a slow start right now. I didn't like their offseason. I didn't like them bringing in Bregman. I don't think Bregman's going to do any good in that ballpark for 80, 81 games of the year. This could be the Pirates' chance to make the playoffs for the first time in over 15 years, I think it is. As it pertains to the Connor Griffin contract extension, yeah, might as well lock him up. But like a lot of times I'm starting to think now, why do these young guys take these big contracts? Like, I know they never, like, when you ever going to see $140 million? Like, I get that, but it's like, with the hype that's surrounding you, why not wait? Look how now it's all different too. Because there's probably gonna be a salary cap. I don't know. There's just a lot of questions I have for Connor Griffin. 9 years, 140. I'm not saying it's a bad contract for him, but like maybe he could have gotten more with the way they're hyping this kid up. I mean, they're talking about when's the last time we saw a position player this hyped up for a debut, and everyone's dating back to Chris Bryant, because Chris Bryant, I mean, the anticipation for Chris Bryant was freaking insane. And now he goes over to Colorado and he's a bag of dicks. But I don't know. The Pirates locked up another player for long term to go alongside with Brian Reynolds. Now, Brian Reynolds has no trade clauses in his contract extension. There's absolutely no way we know that they're going to have any sort of contract extension with Paul Skeens. Paul Skeens will test the market when he's available. Congratulations to Connor Griffin and the Pirates. And let's see where the Pirates go this year. Raise it, as Dallas Brain would say. He would say more emphatically. I don't have the energy. Let's stay within that division there. Well, the Brewers are kind of in trouble. They're going to be without Christian Yelich. And it looks like it's a bad injury. A hamstring injury. I believe this has been nagging on with him the last couple seasons now. And they're already without their young star with Jackson Chourio. They're also without Andrew Vaughn and their pitchers, Quinn Presser and Jared Koenig. I mean, not ideal for the Brewers. Not ideal. Not what you want to hear. There's still no timetable on how long that Yelich is going to be out. I still don't even think that he's been landing on the IL yet. But not ideal. Heading into the Monday, both the Mets and the Yankees were struggling really bad. Both on 5-game losing streaks, but the excuse that the Mets have at least is that Juan Soto's injured, is out for 2 to 3 weeks. And the Yankees had a good run yesterday, but I'll tell you what. Getting really sick of some of the fucking shit that's going on. For example, today. They're having back-to-back games against left-handed pitching. It's back-to-back games. Ben Rice, who's been arguably their best hitter, is not in the lineup. It just does not make any goddamn sense to me, man. Not for nothing. Not for nothing. Aaron Judge is the best player in the New York Yankees, no doubt about it. But so far, early on this season, man, Ben Rice has been our best hitter. It gets late early. When you're in this freaking division with the Orioles who are loaded, the Red Sox are underperforming, but they can turn around and switch. This is baseball. The Blue Jays and the Rays. It gets late early, man. I'm not even saying I'm not arguing about Paul Goldschmidt being in the lineup. I'm not I know how great he is against lefties, but I knew this was going to happen when they brought it was a couple weeks before spring training. They signed Paul Goldschmidt. Fuck, I knew this was going to happen. Let me ask you, son. How do you win baseball games? By scoring runs. How do you score runs? By hitting the baseball, by getting hit, or getting on base in any way, shape, or form, or hitting home runs. Who does that better? Ben Rice or Austin Wells? I will gladly sacrifice Austin Wells' defense for a single game for some productivity out of Ben Rice. I know that the DH slot is clogged up because of Stan. I get that. You have to play Ben Rice over Wells. And I don't want to hear this thing that Aaron Boone said, I just don't think that Benny's ready yet to catch. I'm not ready to have him out there catching just yet. So we're going to go with Wellsy. Dude, go with your best lineup and win the series. You're lucky enough to have the win that you had yesterday. That's what's pissed me off about the New York Yankees. Imagine being a Red Sox fan right now. Because I'm sure what's pissing them off really bad right now is the performances so far from their ace, Garrett Crochet. In case you haven't seen yet, he gave up 11 runs yesterday in 1 2/3 innings pitched. Garrett Crochet early on the season. Again, this is early, I know, but you never want to see your ace. Why is my fucking thing acting up? I'm trying to scroll up, man. You don't want to see your ace in 4 starts in the season with a 2-2 record and a 7.58 ERA. That is not ideal. He's hit 4 batters, so he's averaging 1 hit batter per game. He's only pitched 19 innings in 4 starts. I hope he's not hurt. Let me just be nice here and say that I hope he's not hurt, but I love seeing the demise of the Red Sox and their shitty fucking fans. This guy, I think, was the favorite for the Cy Young betting odds. I didn't take him for my parlay. I took Max Fried, baby. That's what I did. Well, maybe it all changes by next week. Maybe the freaking Red Sox just going on a crazy run. And they overtake first place from the Yankees. We'll see. But we won't find out till next Tuesday. Ladies and gentlemen, when we come back next Tuesday, it is going to be our NFL Draft Day episode. We will recap some of these playing games. We will recap WrestleMania. And we'll see what else we have in store for breaking news heading into next Tuesday. So thank you all for tuning in. And for those that stuck around on the live stream when I had to take that phone call, appreciate it. And until next week, we'll talk to you then. Stay sexy, Sports Cave.